What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gonzo, and today is another Conversations with the Community episode. I'm really glad you guys liked the very first episode with the Grumpy Charizard. Now is one of his counterparts from the Cardboard Addicts podcast. I give you Sudon.
Yo, what's up?
I want to go ahead and tell the lovely people what you're all about for the Cardboard Addicts podcast, because I know you are a retired YouTuber. You do live streams from time to time. You understand that if you follow his TikTok. You do TikTok from time to time. I personally don't have one, but you have talked about them multiple times in the group chat we are in. But let's talk about you and what you're all about in your collecting hobbies.
Right on. I'm Sudon. Hi, everybody. I'm an alcohol. No, I don't know. I just like things, and so we like to do comics and cards and collectibles. And I'm huge into collectibles of all different sizes and shapes. I had to retire my YouTube just because it wasn't what I wanted, and I do TikToks. Do. They're potty talks.
I will link his TikTok down the description down below. That the Cardboard Addicts podcast channel, which again he is a part of. It's a great podcast if you are a fan of Pokemon cards, MetaZoo, I guess, if you want to lump it in, but we don't talk about that here.
We had a small section where we did MetaZoo.
And that's the great. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We kind of talked about with Grumpy, but as another person who, like yourself, who didn't collect MetaZoo, I feel like we have a different view of what they had. But comic books, because if you collect comic books, you usually get a cardboard backing to make sure it's all crept up and sleeved correctly, which I know you're a big fan of. We'll talk about why your favorite superhero is who it is. But as this is a primary Pokemon channel, as I would like to know, and I'm sure some of the people will in the comment section or in the live chat, since I will do another premiere, why is your favorite Pokemon Cyndaquil?
Cyndaquil, he's just adorable, man. Like,
he's so
that's
adorable.
Just, when you see him, you just kind of go, look at him. You just want to snuggle him. It was really rough. And it's funny, it's really the only fire type that I'm like a huge fan of when it comes to the starters and of all of them. But Cyndaquil, just like as the moment I saw him, I'm like, he's mine, and I have to have him, and I never evolve him. He can never be evolved. You put that Everstone on there.
I love Cyndaquil. He is my favorite starter from that generation. As far as starter fire types, I would say he's number 2 for me.
Who's your number 1?
It's probably a tie between Charmander, just because of nostalgia, no, it's probably a tie number 1 with Charmander and Cyndaquil. Yeah,
I'd have to say Chikorita, maybe, but they kind of.
If we're counting the grass types, Chikorita got to be on the bottom.
Not Chikorita. What Chikorita was the grass type? I'm sorry.
Yes,
it was the one that was from the 4th or Gen 3. What is her name?
Gen 3.
Torchic.
Torchic. Torchic. Yeah, Torchic.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
I do love that fire chicken.
She's cute. Yeah. Then it evolves into terrible.
No, I disagree. I love all 3 starters from Generation 3. I'm not a big Mudkip fan. My favorite from Gen 3 is Trico.
I didn't like. Okay, so Trico for me was when he gets to his final form. I was like, now that's a final form.
Sceptile is a final form.
For sure.
Say what you want about Megas. He has one of the best Mega Evolution designs ever.
I thought it was pretty awesome, and I thought they did a pretty good job. Mudkip was mine for that generation. I was straight up Mudkip because, dude, you destroy everybody. That that ground type. I'm big into rock, so give me the ground type. But I'm traditionally a grass type.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. That some of the Pokemon change from being very adorable to like, why are you the way you are? Like Cyndaquil, you said you don't evolve at all. But to go on your favorite Pokemon on the Cardboard Addicts podcast, and even in the chats that you're into when people do live streams and you're commenting. Where did your Stunk Fisk? At this point, it's a meme within our little community that we have with each other.
Mm.
Why Stunk Fisk?
Stunvis originated from the fact that I honestly everybody kept being harsh on him, and I decided to take his back. And then it became a meme on itself. It just it became synonymous with the fact that, like, heck yeah, and I just kind of ran with it. And honestly, he's a beast. They proved it right in Pokemon Go when they released him in Pokemon Go. You could take out everybody with just a team of Stunfisks, and then like even then, they gave him a form in freaking Galar, the
Yeah,
Galarian.
he gave him a Galarian form. Is the original Stunfisk your favorite, or do you like the Bear Trap Galarian?
Honestly, there's inappropriate reasons for why I like Stunfisk, but then there's but there's the bear trap is just like I remember when I first saw that thing pop out on me on the ground. I'm like, oh look, here's an item. Oh, like it just comes out at you, and I'm like,
You can say fuck. Fuck's a good word.
it definitely got me made my butthole pucker a little, and I was like, ooh, but
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah.
And the full art in the cards was wicked, and
It is a
I
nice full
honestly
art.
they haven't done the first gen Stunfisk, which is derpy. You know,
Mm,
it's just
it's
derpy.
so derpy.
I will acknowledge the fact that it is a silly and a weirdly, but it's no darn Dunsparce. But hey,
Ooh, Dunsparce are stunky. I don't know which one I dislike more because in my tier list, I did put it on the very bottom. I gave it an F grade. But here's the thing. So in my Discord, I have some of my people in my Discord. We battle each other on Pokemon Showdown, and since I'm like the Elite Four gym, final gym member, whatever,
mm,
champion, um, I decided my team and my mods teams will be dedicated to a single type. So I obviously chose electric type so I can have a Raichu on my team. I put Stunfisk on my team. I don't think people anticipate him because he does get great coverage moves as well. Plus, with since he's a ground type that can learn Surf, he can hit other ground types that come in for people who are anticipating my electric team.
and Mudshot's just not a
Yeah,
nice move sometimes. Like I think it's
no,
Mudshot or Mudslap. It's one of those moves that does it's debilitating, especially against certain
the
types. So.
accuracy. Yeah, it's all about that accuracy drop with the Sunfisk. But
And
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say they also proved him in the cards. You know, in the card game, you know, TCG. I remember when they first released him because he was Steel type suddenly, and the Steel, he basically every time you hit him, he would hit the enemy back. So there was, you
Mhm.
know, and then I could circle him out. That would allow me to, you know, kind of mill my deck enough times so I could actually put Stunfisk as a defensive. They were beasts. It was
Yeah,
fun to play.
even the Galarian Stunfisk does have a role to play.
Hmm.
I do hate his ability in the game. It is a terrible ability, but they had to break him, I guess, somehow.
Right.
Um, but let's go back since you do have so many collectibles in the background, and I always love staring at it because I feel like I always find something new back there, like the Bill and Ted thing behind your head right now. I didn't notice that ever until you moved just a little bit. What's your favorite collectible that you think people uh, undervalue? That people that see like, oh, that's like because I'm sure somebody at one point has looked at your collectibles and like, oh, I could sell that. I could sell that. What do you think something that's undervalued that they probably just don't know about?
Um, a lot of it's not out, and to kind of
It's probably that
hit
Crystal
you,
Pepsi.
the Crystal Pepsi, there's two of them, but that's from the actual re-release from a few years ago. About a decade ago, they re-released the Crystal Pepsi because
Yeah,
the fans called for it. My roommate at the time grabbed me a couple because she found them, and I was like, "Cool." They're all deflated, and just because they're losing their pressure,
right.
it happens. But honestly, it's really kind of tough because honestly, and to kind of answer part of that is I change this up a lot. I'm like every
Yeah.
week constantly. It's not finished, but honestly, my favorite collectible probably would have to be one of my that's undervalued is my Mad magazine, signed by Weird Al.
Oh, it's signed by Weird Al. That's awesome. Oh,
I met him in Denver at Denver Comic Con a few years back, and it's the my name is John. That's it says hi, John.
hi,
This is
John.
me.
Yeah.
I met him. He signed this, and of course, this is the he was the first ever guest editor for Mad. This was that issue. I
Mhm.
figured I'm not even a huge Mad collector. This is actually probably the only one that I have in my entire collection. I might have something in the magazine box.
Yeah.
I don't know, but this one, and then it goes along with the memory. I met the dude. Like I
Yeah.
met him. He signed this in front of me, and he was there's that stigma. Sometimes celebrities, you think they might be jerks or they might
Mhm.
have some sort of thing to them, or like, and me, I was raised respectable. Keep your distance. Don't want to encroach on
Yeah.
property. Or I'm a big dude. I don't want to bump at anything. And he's a celebrity. I don't want to get kicked out. But he was all like, "Get in here!" And he pulled me in, gave me a hug. It was like really super personal and like it was a lot of fun. And that's I think this thing is going to be value because Mad's
Yeah.
no longer around.
No, they're not. I don't even
So
think a
that
lot of kids of this generation know about Mad TV or Mad Magazine because it
mhm.
was a very popular subset of everything in the 90s. Yeah.
Owned by DC Comics, and when DC started reshuffling a few years back, and then we're seeing the problems with that, thanks HBO Max and all their stupidity. But Warner
Yeah.
Brothers doesn't know how to do what they're doing. But yeah, they reshuffled and got rid of the Mad magazines a few years back because print is dying, and they didn't want to move it into digital. But
Yeah.
the
It's
purpose of these magazines is to look at the actual books because
yeah.
the back end you can fold it, and it's a
The
gimmick.
back ends were always the best part of Mad Magazine. Um, is there anything that we should anticipate with you in the near future as far as Cardboard Addicts? Because if they've watched it before, you've been talking about how you want to do live streams and actually open up some of your product in the back.
I'm kind of coming to a certain point in my collecting days. I recently lost my job, unfortunately, but I'm working to
Mhm.
get that fixed because it's not something that's gonna control me forever.
No, of
But
course
I've
not.
actually I haven't been buying a lot. I started. I think these Digimon booster boxes was probably
Mhm.
one of the last big booster box pool that I picked up, and I'd love to continue collecting those. Eventually, I'll do that, but I'm going to be opening up stuff. I'd like to like give an option. I have a huge. I mean, look at this. Oh, I have. I mean, all of these silly little Halloween packs to open up. I got
A ton. That's a lot of singles.
this
What
is
kind
so
of
I had
yeah, not
you
singles,
got
booster packs.
booster packs. You got everything from Fates Collide
Okay.
all the way up to Guardians Rising. Let's see what else we got in here. More Fates Collide. Oh, the vintage freaks will like the
Uh,
Evolutions pack there.
Here's a controversial statement for Pokemon fans. I'm not a fan of X and Y. Not X and Y. Let me reword that. I'm not a fan of those evolution packs. I know why they're so still 40, $50. Not a pack, but why they're so expensive. Because people want the Charizard. I don't give a damn. It's like you said, it's a reprint. They did update all the stats for modern gameplay. I still I just never was into it. I bought them, of course, to get the mega evolutions and the full arts that they added to it. But overall, that set's not for me.
I'm and I've said it many a time on the Cardboard Addicts podcast. I've said it a few times that I'm not a fan of the vintage anymore. I love vintage. I have
Mhm.
my fossil theme decks here. I got from my pals at the Hydro Pump LLC. They were able to hook me up with that, and then they gave me the outside case of the booster box or the fossil. So it's like that
Yeah.
was my favorite set. All the other sets I really didn't have any investment in. So I don't care
Mm.
about Jungle. I don't care about Rocket and On. It's when I came back in X and Y is when I started like going, okay, these are kind of cool. But I still I vintage has gotten boring. And I think
Yeah.
that's mainly because of the bigger poker tubers that are constantly like, I'm opening this entire set of booster packs. And I'm like, I've seen them. It's
Yeah.
a raceway pardon. They like to come by my house. I
Yeah.
think
We have someone doing donuts at my house all the time. I don't get it
it's
either.
they go quiet through the rest of the neighborhood and then they like suddenly rev up near my house. It's like
Yeah. because
But
they
yeah, I
know.
mean, I'd
Yeah.
like to open up some of this stuff. That's where I'd kind of like to go
Mhm.
with it. Maybe do more openings. I have booster boxes of Darkness Ablaze. I still haven't pulled the Stun Fist from that set. I've had people send them to me,
But
which
you
I
haven't pulled it
appreciate.
yourself.
I have not pulled it myself. I have not pulled the full art. So I'm like, I still would like to do that. Most people are what? Get the Charizard. But I kind of go for the Stunfisk because it's a cool art.
Yeah. I actually have the Charizard from that set graded. I didn't grade it myself. It was one of the ones that I got in a mystery pack from one of my local trade shows. Because I actually want to know your thoughts on mystery packs, but I fucking hate them. I normally
Mm,
will never buy them, like the ones I like Walmart, Target, the ones you get on the shelf in a store. I I hate them with a passion. I think they're the biggest ripoff ever, and I don't even get them online from other creators or sellers. I think they're a rip. The only reason
mm,
why I get them at my local trade shows is because I can call a motherfucker out real quick if I bought a $50 mystery pack and I'm only getting $20 worth of product. But if
right.
like luckily the ones that I go to, Min Max Collectibles, shout out to you guys, love you. I'll leave a link in their in the for their Instagram. They will give you $50 worth of product no matter what. You're guaranteed a slab. That slab might only be $20 or $30, but they'll
Mm,
give you packs, enough packs to equal the amount of $50. So you're always guaranteed to get your money's worth at the least, or something better. I think the best, one of the better cards I got from them was a PSA 10, and I think it was the legendary Birds Trio, where I think that card alone was worth $50, and then I still
mm,
got a couple of booster packs and singles inside. That's the
nice.
only reason why I get them locally, because and they've seen me do it too, because they were at one booth and I was like, oh, I'll go to the next booth and I'll get a mystery pack, and I bought it for $25 and I opened it up. It was two Darkness Ablaze booster packs and a vintage like Charmander, and I was like, what? And I looked at the guy. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "What do you mean what?" I was like, "Is there any packs in here worth $25 or more?" He's like, I was like, "Nah, man." I was like, "Take this. I'll give my money back." Like, I normally never like that, but if you're making me spend $25 for two Darkness Ablaze, we're gonna fight.
Mm, right.
Yeah.
I don't do mysteries packs,
Mhm.
honestly. I've gotten a couple mystery boxes from cons because they sometimes come with cool collectibles. I did one on the podcast where I like showed all the different Jurassic Park ones because it was themed.
Yeah.
But they've also gotten ones where like, oh, it's probably gonna have this pop in it, and then you end up getting something like Rainbow Bright and a bunch of weird like that's how I ended up with this
You're talking about like the stuff you can get at the $5 aisle in Target.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that's how I got ended up. I found this in one of the pack, and you get like little mystery packs. Mystery packs are like the single. Like
Mm.
I have fun with like going to go to the store and get the little minifigure mystery packs where you don't know which figure you're getting in a set.
That's different because
You
they're
can
you know what you're gonna
feel
get
it.
because you can, yeah, feel it, and there's
It's
pictures on the
fun.
box. Yeah. Yeah.
It's but if you're like if you got it like the weird ones where they go, hey, you might get a vintage pack. I've
Yeah, those
gotten
ones I hate.
I think I've bought three bought three mystery boxes in general, and one of them is the one that I'm angriest about, and that would be the first one was an actual like one of the like the ones
Mhm.
that everybody likes to buy. But the thing is, I didn't notice until I got out to the parking lot that somebody had pushed in the bottom and looked inside for what was in there and taken all the vintage out or anything that was good in there. So it was just a bunch of open packs. And then the
Oh.
Walmart's like, we can't take this back. And then I bought the little mystery cube, those little plastic cubes that just
Oh,
comes with
yeah,
a
yeah.
bunch of cards. I didn't know about it. This was way at the beginning of when I first started my channel. Like, way
Mhm.
bless you. It's the cat's right here. So beep. Gratuitous
Ooh.
cat picture. Um, I bought that, and it turned out to be just a big bust of just a random like bulk. And I was like, why did
Yeah.
I spend $20 for this thing? And then the third one is the one that hurt me the most, even though I got screwed for the other two. The third one that hurt me the most was because I spent money on MetaZoo, and it was one of those MetaZoo packs. I did an opening
Yeah.
on that one, and I actually pulled a vintage pack,
How is it
first
vintage?
edition.
It's only like 3 years old.
It's the one you're trying to get their first edition packs in there. And it's I ended up getting a first edition pack, and I ended up pulling like I didn't even know it at the time, like one of the good
Yeah.
cards, and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever,
Ooh, yeah.
because it's all trash.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but yeah, it was
MetaZoo, if they keep doing what they're doing with not even promoting, because apparently their promotions are great, but if they keep treating their clientele the way they are, they're screwed.
mm.
Yeah.
I kind of stopped paying attention to them the moment they actually banned me. The moment they banned me, I was like, all right, I'm not even going to give any kind of, because trying to stay on top of it for the podcast is like, you want
Yeah.
to know at least some things. There's a lot of stuff where I kind of come into it going, I got me all covered in catnip. The cat, I just OGD there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like we look at it and go, do we talk about it anymore, or what are we going to talk about? You want to look into it a little bit, and
Right.
Zen
You
gets
want to
mad
do
at
a
me
little
because
bit
I'm
of
usually
research.
stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually stubborn on that, but they knowing about it, and now that we don't do anything, I don't really care. I'm not
Yeah.
even looking at what's going on.
Because at one
They
point you were the only source of information because they banned the other three.
I will. They banned the other three of illegitimate reasons, and I was the only one that ended up getting banned for a legitimate reason because of the. And it's funny is within 20 minutes
Yeah.
after I got banned, they did the whole "We'll be
Oh,
friends now."
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
banning
Yeah.
everyone. So I'm like, I don't care, but I legitimately like broke a rule, and I
Yeah.
deserve my ban. But honestly, I don't care. I have not invested in the product any
Yeah.
further. I still have a lot of it because I was holding on to it for the guys and for other people, but
But now they don't even want it.
now nobody
Yeah.
wants it. So it's
No.
like, ah. But yeah, being knowledgeable about stuff is it's a lot to take in, especially when you have so many
So
interests.
much. Yeah. Speaking of so
So
many other interests, let's talk about your comic book collection and your favorite comic book hero.
comic book collection example.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably just an example. You probably have way more than that.
That's the majority of it. There's three
Mhm.
three piles of the long boxes. There's an actual third pile down here.
Yeah.
But there are like these little mini long boxes right here that I have, like the Power Rangers and my Spider-Man and my Gwens. Um, but yeah, I have a lot of comics. So not as many as some people might have that I just recently found out. My buddy has like 17,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
Were they
I'm like,
all that's insane.
it's
I
like
thought
he
yeah,
has it all over the place too. It's like, okay,
they're just
why?
scattered all over his house.
Well, he just finds it places where he can fit it. Like he has, he owns his own house, so he puts like
Mm.
in the bathroom, kind of like Alpha Investments, puts his comic long boxes in the now sealed up bathroom. Made sure that the plumbing is completely sealed up and in there. And I'm just like, all
Yeah,
right, man, that's your thing.
that's
But
yours.
he's also like the thing is he's switching. He went from these cardboard boxes to now they're going to the plastic ones.
Yeah.
And if you see those are $60 a long
Yeah,
box
each. Yeah.
each, and that's a heavy investment. And I barely survived the 200 I was putting down a month for just comics.
Right.
So,
Because
but
comics are
yeah,
going up in prices too.
they started
Just
that.
yeah.
They started that a couple of years ago when I had my first podcast, Stapled Together podcast.
Mhm.
We were a three-man. My roommates and I did a series for about 2 years. We just reviewed comics that we picked up every on the Comic Book Wednesday. We'd read our
Comic Book
books.
Wednesday. Yeah.
We'd go and record the podcast. It was an all audio podcast because I'm the pretty face, and I had to. They didn't want to show it.
You're
So
still the pretty face on the Cardboard Axe podcast too. Let's face it.
it takes a lot. You gotta groom yourself properly. You can't just drink milk and have it on your face there all the time, Grumpy. Um,
We gave Grumpy. I feel like sometimes we pick on him a little too much, but he takes it quite well.
I get a lot of negative talk in the community for certain folks because I tend to seem like a troll. I come off trolly. I'm silly. I mean nothing about what I say when I
Yeah,
do it. So like, and I pick on Grumpy, but we give it. He gives
he
it
gives
back
it. He
just
does
as
give it
equal.
back really good. Yeah,
And I love the dude. I love all the guys in the podcast. So we're kind of like brothers. We sometimes we fight, we sometimes we jeer, but everything we say and at each other is never serious.
No.
But that's it's. But we have our little things because I have no room to talk about losing hair, and so and then
Yeah.
if I got this patchy beard going on right here, like I can't
Yeah.
talk about somebody's facial hair, but it was fun to give
Yeah.
him some.
At least you're allowed to grow facial hair. I can't grow facial hair because of work, so I have to shave it on a regular basis. But I remember I was like 13, I had that patchy facial hair, so good on you. It's finally coming in after 36 plus years. I don't
Yeah,
I'm just taking a guess.
I'm 40.
40
So
40
yeah,
years.
it's bad. My brother 5 years younger than me has a fuller facial hair, and it's just been natural for him. And I didn't shave a lot. The key to it is shave, and I would just go, "Nah, I'm good." I'm still in that kind of that
Mhm.
you can kind of tell. Shaving it makes it grow better, and then proper care. I'm
I
proud of
think the
what I got.
shaving thing is just a myth.
It does help actually. I was actually how I was able to get this to fully connect
You shave.
because there was a gap here for a long time. So I just shaved like a section of my face. Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it. It's
We
fine.
should shave the cat.
She used to get shaved. This cat used to. I would leave all the hair from here up on her head, and then I would leave all of like the hair from her paws down because she wiggles a lot, and then shave the rest of it off because she sheds so dang much. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And I'm
My
allergic to cats.
and you don't give a damn about it.
I have 3 of them.
But you obviously love your cats.
I do.
Um, we talked about this on the podcast, but I'm just curious because you were talking about research. You said you probably won't grade with CGC anytime soon for your comics. Have you researched anyone else that grades comics?
Comics, the idea of grading my comic kind of went out the door once the podcast with the comics kind of ended.
Mhm.
I have a few, but then I'm always like, I want to get this graded because it's got like I've got um Star Wars #1.
Mhm.
All the Scotty Young variants for all the Star Wars. When Marvel re-released the Star Wars line, they had different. Scotty Young's my favorite author. He's the one, or not author, really author slash artist.
Artists,
He
yeah.
he's famous for doing the kid Marvel characters, so Kid Spider Man. So you'll see a lot of them
Mhm.
with the cons, the childlike versions of them. He did a whole comic series of that, like the X Men. It was wonderful. His art style is great. He's got his other stuff like I Hate Fairyland Tale or Fuck Fairyland Tale. That one's a great storyline.
Yeah.
And there's this great artist, chaotic artist, but an amazing artist. And um, I have the books signed by the authors,
Right.
but I want to get him to sign it and then grade it. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It's like I want to get something graded, but I want to make sure I have all the things before I get it graded. I have some Power Ranger
Absolutely.
covers,
Yeah.
I love to get them, covered or graded, but I haven't really looked in a long time.
Mhm.
It's really hard to look into grading just because I don't see the point of. Well, my brain financially does go. Here's an investment of my money. Put it in plastic.
I I'm a big fan of grading my cards, but
Right.
most of them they're not meant to be like, oh, I'm going to resell them down the line. They're just, especially my old Vincent stuff. They're sentimental to me. I want to keep them in the condition they're in, so they don't get any worse. Yeah.
I'm That's why I bagged and board like every single comic that I
Mhm.
have bagged and boarded. The moment we got them, we would go to the comic book store. I would buy, you know, decks of hundred sleeves just so that I can make sure that acid free. So it's, my
Yeah.
comic is protected. When if it had a digital copy, I immediately redeemed that, and then I put the main copy in a bag and board, and it went right into the box.
Yeah. Then you read the digital copy.
hmm
Yeah.
I don't want to touch it. There's so many times where I'm sitting there like, it's like pitching my comics, trying not to like, so I don't.
You don't
Like,
want to crease anything.
I
Yeah.
don't want to
Get
crease
your
them.
oils on everything. Yeah.
I have a chaotic cat that, as you guys have seen already today, that'll just suddenly go, "I'm walking across your thing," and it'll,
Yeah.
like, jump on me for some reason. Like that tears. I've had them knock over cups and destroy an entire 2 weeks worth of comics just because
Ooh.
I turned around for a second in a comic, a cup of water split,
Mhm.
learned from it, but it still sucks when you go, I just lost $50 worth in comic books because. But does the
Yeah.
slab protective for that?
Yes.
Do they test them for cats?
I'd imagine so. They're pretty durable. I've seen them. I've handled them. The graded comics that is, but I've never just like, yeah, I'm gonna drop it from 6 feet and see what happens. So,
If I could get a graded comic that's like not from my collection,
mhm.
I would pick Action Comics #1.
The Superman. Yeah.
Superman. Yeah, the
It's
car.
just an iconic like if you show anybody that cover, they're gonna
Mhm,
tell you that's Superman. Like obviously they'll any Superman cover, but they'll tell
mhm.
you that's the one. That's the one that everybody and their mom wants.
I've
I, on
quickly
the other
switched.
hand, would
Oh.
like the Flash one where Barry and Jay Garrick are running across where they introduced each other in the concept of the multiverse.
The brick wall, help
Yeah,
me,
the brick wall.
Flash.
Yeah. And the best part to me is so I don't know how familiar you are with the Flash history, but the Flash is my favorite superhero of all time. Jay
Nice.
Garrick is a comic book character in Barry Allen's version of the Flash. So
Mm.
when he traveled through whatever the Speed Force, that's how Jay Garrick came to be as well in that
In
universe.
in that
At that
universe.
time, yeah, at that
Right.
time, yeah,
That's super cool.
yeah.
I know they've retconned a lot of that stuff now
So much, yeah. The new
of
52,
New
yeah,
52 did really strange things, and then
yeah.
Rebirth did even stranger things, and kind of like
Mhm.
when Convergence, after the New 52 ended into Convergence was, we're canonizing every freaking thing.
Yeah,
Everything that has Superman in it is canon. And everything from that point, was like, then Rebirth came in, and then all the universes existed. It was no longer 52.
yeah,
52 is because of the 52 different realities, different
yeah.
Earths. Now they have the Dark Universe and the Metal Universe and the other
Yes.
universe and all these other
But
ones. But
those are so have you read any of the Metal or Dark Universe
I
storylines
have
for any of them?
I haven't read them, but I have them. That was
Oh, okay.
a big thing. I had collected a lot of them. I have the Metal too. I read for the pretty much as I read most of the Rebirth when they
Mhm.
started doing the Justice League Doom storylines,
Yeah,
when the Justice League basically broke the universe, and then Doom came into play, and they had to. It was some crazy stuff, and
yeah.
Starro became a hero, and they kept calling him Jaro, and then he would
Jar
make you
yeah,
cry because Batman called him his son, and you're like,
yeah.
oh God, Batman, sensitive.
Oh,
Some amazing writing from or not Zack
oh,
Snyder,
no.
Scott Snyder.
Yes.
Scott Snyder did some amazing writing on
Mhm.
there, and then you also have Greg Capullo. I met him. Greg Capullo. He actually recognized me because we met him 2 years in a row, and he was like, "Hey man, what are you doing? How's the podcast?" We still
Oh,
never
that's
managed to get
awesome.
him on there, but yeah, I have a recognizable faces because it's round and furry.
Furry.
But yeah, the
I would
comics
love
are
to
just
see
fun.
anybody in the comic book world get on the podcast because but we've talked about before. I don't remember if it was on the podcast or what, but Cardboard Addicts is not just shiny pieces of cardboard with little tiny pictures of monsters on it. You like you said, you bag and board your comics. You
Hmm.
put them in cardboard. There and then the posters and art and everything else you can do with comics involves cardboard. I would love to see even a sketch artist or someone who writes like a ghostwriter for any of them. Just because that would be an interesting conversation. I know you would be in love with.
It would be awesome. We definitely want to start branching out the Cardboard Addicts podcast. That we like collectibles in all
Mm,
sense. Yeah, I have a much broader spectrum than most of the other guys. The other guys are pretty cards,
cards and
Funkos,
Funkos, yeah.
and which is fine. Everybody collects what they collect, and I
Mhm.
just happen to have so many freaking interests and not enough money to get the stuff for those interests. I
Oh,
have shelves
I
that
know the
have different
feeling.
themes. It's
Yeah.
just it's craziness, and even then, I have half of my stuff isn't even out. and it's still in storage. But I know we love having artists on. Like even
Mhm.
when it comes to like right now, we've been doing a lot of TCG, and that's where our main get together was
Mhm.
doing cards and stuff like that. And cards are a really booming thing, but we also were like, well, games. We talk about games, but they don't technically come in cardboard anymore. But
Not anymore.
the thing is it's a collectible, and
Yeah,
it's pertains to a lot of the card or cardboard or collectibles as well as that we get. So it's kind of hard to go, well, we can't talk about games, but there's a new Pokemon game coming out and a new TCG based on that game, but we can't talk about games. Or what if
that
they decide
doesn't
and
make
we,
any sense to me. As
right? And
long
so we
as you can, it's like playing, was it 7 degrees of 9 degrees of Kevin Bacon? If you can find your way to Kevin Bacon, fucking talk about anything you want.
right.
Yeah,
It's all connected. And the thing is and even then it's about showing that it's okay to collect what you want to collect. Be pleased with your collection. That is
right.
stuff that makes you happy. And honestly, nobody can take that away from you but you.
Yeah,
So don't
absolutely.
let anybody.
Collect how you want to collect and
Mhm.
collect the way you want to. Because I know a lot of people like, oh, I'll never slab my product. Well, good, don't. I'll slab mine. It's not a big deal. It's mine, not yours. Or and then vice versa. Like, oh, I'm going to destroy this so yours goes up in value. That's the one that blows my mind, and I think it's stupid. But hey, it's your money that you just destroyed. You do you.
See, that's the problem with I have with the grading situation. I have graded stuff. It's
Yeah.
mostly cards. I did PSA grading of my cards. I show off my shiny Charizard, which I pulled. I am still at this point. I think I'm still the only one that has pulled the shiny Charizard from Hitty Fates while opening in his card. So, because that was my shtick on my channel, I did my 15, 20-minute videos on my lunch.
Mhm.
I would record it really quick, and it was lunch times with Sudon, and that was what I had. And I would edit it, very minimally, but I would. But
Yeah.
honestly, I just have a problem. Back to the slabbing thing, I have a problem with the fact is because there's so many things you don't know what the general
So many.
populations.
Yeah.
Your card could be worth something, and somebody may charge you extra for that card to be worth something. But I have no intention of selling said product ever.
Right.
I've considered the shiny Charizard. It would definitely help me when it comes to money situations. But I will do other things to avoid having to do that. More
Mhm.
responsible actions because the memory of pulling. I don't like Charizard. I don't hate Charizard, but I don't like Charizard. But the still memory
Right.
of the event of it being opened was fun. I
Yes.
remember it was a special event. I pulled two cards that I was looking for in that same video, and they got graded. The three birds, the original art, not the full art or anything. The original art that was like just
Yeah.
regular GX. That was my favorite card from that set because I love Mitsuhiro Rita. I love his
Mhm.
art. It's just amazing. I've ever since the Final Fantasy days. It's just
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that involved in my existence, but I knew it. But I don't know. I grade for me. I don't grade for the value except for what the
Absolutely.
value for me. And
Yeah.
it's hard to push that. And it's hard to go, well shit, what if I absolutely need to sell this? And then somebody's fluctuated the market, or what if somebody's altered my card? And it's like
Yes.
I don't want that. I don't or what if somebody I and then there's the whole putting it through somebody else, a third party, and then what if they'll well, how do you know they didn't switch that card with another run that they got, so that they got the PSA
Oh,
10,
why did you say that out loud? I never even thought about that. Now I'm like, oh, the cards I submitted through a third party that came
It's not
back
like you
really
can
low grade. Like, yeah,
right,
yeah,
and, like, I can tell, like, my Mew came back as my Mew. I know that, and I trusted the people that I did the grading through, but
of
that's the
course.
thing is that's at this point in the game, coming from
Mhm.
that point, at the time, I could trust it. Now, I don't have any trust for the system because I'm like, are you gonna switch out my card? Are you gonna like you can't mark your card because then you
No,
ruin
because
the
then you
grade.
yeah.
It's like how do I tell this is my card? Until
Luckily,
and then
I don't have that fear. It's out there in the universe now. You put it out there. I don't have that fear, so I'm going to continue to grade cards. If I come back with a one and it's all crinkled, I'll blame you later because you put it
that
out.
wasn't me, man.
It was me.
That's what you get for putting it in an envelope and sending it through USPS.
Oh, I never use envelopes. I'll show you what I send my cards in.
Oh, I mean, that's just kidding.
I straight up like I will use a whole like I can send 5 cards and I will still use this box. It's I don't care that I'm spending a little extra, but it's insured through USPS up to a certain amount. Yeah, so it sucks. I'll probably lose something if I send in a really crazy card, but it's also I could track it. It's going to be a lot safer than just putting in a bubble mailer or in an envelope. So yeah, I will use those boxes till the day I die to ship my cards.
The other thing that kind of deters me from grading, and it's a personal thing, is the anxiety that it causes me between then and now and then and now. Let me explain that is I put it into a secure situation.
Mhm.
I put it, cardboard between each one. I make sure
Yeah,
it's bubble wrapped. It's in a nice cardboard box. I even put wood pieces in there to make sure it's like solidify it. But some rookie in the you got too much hair on my face. I'm like, um, cat sheds too much. But did some rookie in the USPS or the UPS decides that they fall and trip and break on your cards, and they're not going to tell you.
yeah. No, they're
They're
not.
not going to tell you. They're going to send it to you to the wherever point it's heading to at that point. And when it gets back from them, yeah, it's insured. It's
Mhm.
insured at that point. But I'm also going, you're telling me that my cars potentially are thousands of dollars in value, but
Yeah.
there's no guarantee that that value is going to maintain through the whole process. And I don't like that anxiety of not knowing where my stuff is. I don't.
Yeah, it's really nerve-wracking. Luckily, since I've started grading on my own and not using the third parties, PSA has been they're really good at keeping you up to date on where it is, what's going on, what's happening. Like as soon as they retrieve it, that you get an email, hey, we got it. It's in our care.
So,
Luckily,
when I did mine, I actually the people I went through, very trustworthy, very open. Like, oh yeah, we have this. This is what's up. This is what's going on.
yeah,
This
the
is why
hydro
this is happening.
I have never heard a terrible thing of the hydro pump.
They're really good
Yeah.
people there.
I have worked with them in the past when Polish Rob was doing all his openings in the very beginning of what 2020. Um, yeah, I will never say a bad thing about the hydro pump until they decide to beat up somebody they shouldn't beat up. like,
Polish Rob.
like
I met him in
yeah,
October. He
he's a
was
real nice dude. Yeah,
he was super cool, super tall. And that
is he
helps you
really?
guys
He
get a
like
lot.
he looks like he would be tall.
He was like
Like
noticeably tall. Like for me, I thought Mav was the same height, but he was an illusion. He's actually about a few 6 inches taller than me.
yeah,
Rob's like like Superman over to super higher to that,
yeah,
But he's super cool dude. He was super busy when I met him, and
yeah.
but he's the one that beat me out of my own tournament. So he owes me a rematch
Yeah.
if I ever decide to do that.
I wish he would be a lot more active. Again, but life gets in the way. I get it. So he has to do
Mhm.
him, do what's best for his family. I totally understand. But his videos are usually really top notch.
He was a good guy. He was a good friend. Good to talk
Yeah,
to. He was a good
yeah.
guy.
Um,
Um,
you
I wanted
talk.
to tell you this. I want to tell
What's
you
up?
this. Another thing that's kind of set me different from my collecting and stuff that's changing here is that I can't afford a lot of stuff anymore. So I'm gonna start opening it,
Mhm.
and I need to. It needs to be open. My cat is trying to get to my food.
Yeah, if my wife watches that part of the video, she's gonna look at me and go, "Open shit." He is. I know that's exactly what's gonna happen.
There are some things like I got this stuff sealed and certain things. My original goal was to get an ETB for every set. That
Mhm.
failed miserably thanks to the whole price marketing thing. The
Yeah,
whole skyrocketing of prices. But nah, I'd like to eventually open a lot of this stuff. I don't know
yeah.
why.
Why? Because it's worth so much now. But if you open it, it means nothing.
But I'm
We
not
talked
gonna sell it.
right, right. That's yeah. So speaking of not selling things, it happens to me at least once or twice a month. Do people go into your DMs on Instagram and after they see like something on a background in the collectible or even on the podcast if they somehow randomly see it and be like, "Hey, how much are you asking for that product?"
Never.
Never. You're,
I've
I
never had that.
really, I get it. So I have the small but mighty boxes. They were Target exclusives a couple years ago for Valentine's Day. I
Mhm.
think last time I checked on eBay, they were selling for like $75. I had people, I was like, I'll give you $100 for it. Like, I'm not selling it. I'm not a reseller. Like to the point where I almost had to put that in my bio. I'm not a reseller. Don't ask me. But you know what?
I, I had at one point, I had a whole collection. You can go look at the old before I moved to this new house. I had shelves filled with just collections. The
Yeah,
Mewtwo collection, this collection, that collection. I ripped all those up, and that's how I got all those packs.
yeah. I
I don't
wish
have
I
the
kept
space for it.
some of those sealed when I got them. But at the time, when I was just opening to open things, we weren't in the predicament we are where we're like, I don't know when Target or Walmart are going to have packs again.
It was just like, yo, I could
Yeah.
actually like back then I did my channel, like when I was doing it, I was like, I could actually go and until Hidden Fates hit. Until Hidden Fates hit, it was like, oh, I could
Mhm.
go to the store and pretty much find this ETB.
Find
When
anything I want. Yeah.
yeah, then Hidden Fates hit, and I'm like, okay, I enjoyed opening Hidden Fates, but I'm not a fan of the set. Honestly, it was not that impressive. Really had nothing for the game or the meta. And the
No.
shinies do nothing really for me.
And that was the only value of those cards are or that's it
The
is the shiny
shinies.
vault. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have one of each tin sealed and I've opened the tins on the channel. But that was only because it's popular, so I know people are gonna go for it. Raichu's the best one. Fight me, Grumpy.
I
But
got your boy right here.
yeah,
Not
you
a
know what's
fan
up.
of Raichu.
Well, then I'll take it off your hands.
No, that's one of the reprint ones. It's one with the
Yeah.
cardboard insert. That's one of the ones I managed to get off of someone. I don't remember who
No,
sent that
yeah.
to me, but
Hey, it is what
I'll
it is.
open it. I'll open it one day.
One day, yeah. All right. So I'm glad to have you on the channel. Is there any last words you want to say to the people?
I have a question about what your question was about my superhero. You never asked it because we kind of got distracted.
Oh yeah. So what? I kind of figured that was going to happen because both of us will just go on fucking tangents.
Right.
What is your favorite superhero and why?
My favorite superhero is one that nobody knows, and it's
So it's not a
because he
Marvel or
is
DC, I'm assuming.
he is DC. He is
Okay. Oh, okay.
DC. And the best way I can kind of explain him, his name is Captain Atom. Captain
How
Atom.
dare you say I don't know who Captain Atom is?
Captain
But
Atom
it
is not
depends.
known by
Yeah.
mainstream a lot.
Yes.
You're cool, so you know.
Yeah.
But
Batman only wants him on the Justice League because he can go tiny.
he, no, that's the Atom.
Who are you? That's you
Captain
just said
Atom
the
is
Captain. Okay. Yes, you're talking about the fucking guy who can hold in the nuclear power. Yeah. Okay. I don't. Yeah, I know who you're talking about
Captain
now.
Captain Atom originally. He is basically a character who's can instantly create and destroy the universe with a thought.
Mhm.
He is Doctor Manhattan, the original concept for Doctor Manhattan from
The Watchmen.
the Watchmen. Yeah, thank you. That series was actually Captain Atom was supposed to be Doctor Manhattan.
I
They
heard that, but
changed.
I never knew that was the like an official thing.
I've heard official as far as official was like that was actually in a DC
Mm,
like making of type thing or something like that. But that not only that, but think about it, he got killed by
mhm.
his rival, but came back to life because of his powers to find that his rival has destroyed his entire existence 40 years in the future, and he's now a slave to his enemy.
Yeah,
And just some of the stories he's grossly rated, and he could beat Batman and Superman with a thought.
yeah,
Like
he's
how can he
extremely
beat that?
OP. Yeah,
And he's badass, and so that's why he's always been my favorite character. Very very close to Spider-Man, but you know
I assumed it was Spider-Man, but Captain Atom caught me off guard.
I like Spider-Man. I have a ton of Spider-Man stuff,
Mhm.
but my favorite Spider is actually Spider-Gwen. No shade against Peter, but no, Captain Atom is my favorite just because. And I think even Aquaman, that one a lot of people like to give me shit for, just because I like
Why?
Aquaman.
Aquaman's amazing. He protects 70% of the world. Everyone else doesn't. So while everyone
Right.
else is in space, he's dealing with everything else.
Because he supposedly talks to fish. Best thing ever, and I wish they had done this in the movies.
Mhm.
And I wish they hopefully we get this one day. Is in the New 52. The best start to a character introduction to the character was the New 52 Aquaman because he walked into a fish diner and asked
Yeah.
for fish and chips, and they give him
Yeah.
shit. They're like, "Hey, why don't you eat fish?" And he just like, "I don't talk to fish." Like he just like that scene, and then he ends up like within the same issue, punching Superman across the freaking city.
Yeah. That like people don't understand how strong Aquaman actually is either. Like
Yeah.
he goes toe to toe with Superman on a regular basis. Same thing with the Flash. They like one of my buddies is like Superman's faster than the Flash. He's like, no, he's not. He's like, yeah, he is. Didn't you see the movie? I was like, yeah, I saw the movie. He's Flash is even faster than Superman in the Justice League movie. He's like, no, he's not. I was like, yeah, he is. He was like, yeah, he no. He's like, no, he beat him up in that scene. No, he didn't. He not only did, yeah, he caught up to him, but the Flash was like, what's going on? Tripped over a rock and still was fast enough to dodge Superman's punch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This Barry Allen, it depends on which Flash you want to talk about because honestly, Wally
Fair
West is the
argument.
most powerful. They've
I
confirmed that.
absolutely finally
But
that was a huge argument between Flash fans. But
well,
I
the thing
yeah.
is, Barry is amazing. His character has so many tragedies
Hmm.
and so many levels on his character. Just kind
His
of like,
backstory is what
how can
makes him
you?
such a great hero. Yeah.
That's the stuff. And then Flashpoint. I don't think people are prepared, honestly, when they get into comics to read the full honesty of
Mm.
Flashpoint. He made Batman cry.
Yeah, he did. if if you guys don't know what that Flashpoint is,
Mm.
start reading comics for the love of God. One of my favorite. It's not even the fact. It's I guess there might be a little bias because of the Flash, but it's honestly it's one of my favorite modern comic stories at this point.
I have quite a few dozen comics of Flash. He's
Mm,
not the one I collected the most of. Not nothing against him, just because I had to be very picky and choosy. I have a lot of Batman, a lot of Superman,
mhm.
all of Captain Atom, a lot of Aquaman.
I've been picking up a
But
lot of Teen Titans and Cyborg comics for my son. He loves them.
Teen Titans really is good stuff. The
Yes.
'80s is where it really was really good, and then it kind
Hmm.
of topples. But
I'm not going to give my 7-year old any comics from the 80s.
no,
Not for the artwork, maybe. For the stories, absolutely not. I don't need
there
him
was
to read
some,
about Speedy and his heroin addiction.
or what Major Force did to poor Kyle Rayner's wife. If you ever
Ooh,
heard about the fridging,
yeah. Or
what a way
when
to find her.
Superman and Big Barda made a porno. Yeah, well, yeah, that was a storyline.
There's a lot of I have a comic from the '80s where Superman met Nolan Ryan. Okay, Nolan Ryan, the baseball player. I have that sitting in there, bagged and board. It's the pinnacle. I even when
That
he
would
met
be a
the
cool
Quick
one.
Bunny,
Yeah.
the Nestle Quick Bunny. That one.
Do you
Uh,
have any of the Almanac comics, the one where DC and Marvel partnered up for a little while?
oh, the Amalgam Universe. I
Yeah.
have the. Let me see.
While
I
he's
got.
getting that, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Marvel and DC actually partnered up for a little while and combined heroes together. Like Batman and Wolverine became a hero named as Darkclaw. No. It's not
They
that
did
one.
it at
It
the end where
was,
they combined them. You're talking about
I think it was
where
called
you
the.
actually had like Batman, Wolverine.
Yeah, I don't remember any of the. I used to have them. I had like 5 or 6 issues of it. and they unfortunately that was just some of the stuff that got stolen when I was growing up, moving from house to house.
Yeah, I remember this is some of the
They're old.
coolest
They're
stuff.
in the 90s. It was a 90s comic.
Yeah. Hulk with Superman. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Who
that
sees that?
right.
This is an official comic too.
I always
But
think it's funny when people are like, no, DC and Marvel hate each other. They don't. They don't even contract people to specifically work for Marvel only. Like I met Alex Sinclair very recently. Yes, though
there's your
that's Darkclaw. Superman
yeah,
and Captain America, of course. Then I think it was Superboy and Spider Man.
Dr.
Um,
Fate and
Doctor
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 Strange,
Strange. Yes,
Deadshot and Bullseye,
yes.
you Doctor
Wonder
Doom and
Woman
the
in
Spectre.
Wonder Woman in Storm.
Yeah.
Is that
Just
Nightcrawler and Beast Boy? Is that who that is? Is that who's Nightcrawler paired up with?
I think that was actually the Creep mixed up with Nightcrawler,
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
which is funny because the Creep, if that is the Creep, that's just crazy. But yeah,
Because that's an unknown hero.
yeah, this is a fun comic. I wish they'd go and do it again. And you're right, they don't hate each other. They
No.
have I mean, there is a friendly camaraderie in
Yes.
Superman's canon in Marvel.
Yes,
They canonize
yes, he is.
Superman, and they've canonized plenty of characters in the DC universe.
Yeah, that's why like they reference each other in their movies and shows all the damn time. I like every once in a while, I'm like, I get that reference. Like I feel like I'm Captain America in what was it? Winter Soldier. It's like,
Oh,
I
all
get
the
that
time,
reference.
yeah.
But
Nah, I love
I'm
it.
so glad that you were able to take time out of your day to hang out with me. I can't wait to have you on again. I can't wait to be on your guys' podcast again. You guys are always so warm and welcoming, and there's always so much to talk about. Do you have anything to share with the lovely people?
Check us out. Hit that like and subscribe down below because Gonzo's awesome people. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank
having
you,
me
sir.
on, bro.
No problem.
Yeah. I know we don't talk about it and they give me shit, but we're gonna be on Twitch eventually. This Cardboard
Yes.
Addicts podcast.
Yes.
That's where I kind of maintain my content. And that's also, I wanted to tell you, that's the last thing. Big reason why I stopped doing YouTube is because of the diversity here.
It's so massive.
They do not reward you for going, oh, you're gonna switch genres suddenly. It just got really temperamental.
Yeah,
but
you have to
I
stick to one genre on YouTube.
I can't do that. I have too many loves. So love what you want, stay what you want, and be excellent to each other. Always. That's what I always say.
Don't forget, guys, follow Sudon in the Cardboard Addicts podcast and his doo-doo talk on TikTok. All those links will be in the description down below. Until next time, guys, I know words. I can't even do my own outro. Until next time, guys, my name is Gonzo, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.